Smite.
On Smite. On Smite.
On Smite, episode 7, recorded on July 14th, 2013.
I'm Brent Copeland.
I'm the greatest.
I'm Wes Wilson. No.
Sorry.
I'm Eric Fullerton.
I have returned.
And we have all returned for another episode of On Smite, episode
Bye.
7.
7.
Yeah.
Which is the number
Of the
after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
beast. Yes.
Follows
We're-
them.
We are still very, very excited about Smite.
Indeed.
And we got a sponsor this week.
We
Nice.
got Squidnear.
Squidnear sponsored the show.
And he said, "Go home, matchmaking system. You're drunk."
Whoa. It might be true.
Yes.
We might talk about that. in
Yes.
Probably
a little
talk about
bit.
them.
Yes.
So,
Thank
okay,
you.
let's do a little weekly wrap-up where we talk about what's been going on in the past week, but we also discuss maybe some info we found out through the week about what we said last week.
That's true. Some some
We got
corrections.
some feedback.
Some feedback. Some
Yeah.
great feedback from YouTube and Reddit, so we appreciate it. Always correct us when we're wrong. We don't mind.
True.
We're new to the game, so we are wrong some.
And you know, the people that are correcting us are people from High Res. So from the source.
That's true.
Some of the corrections, yeah.
So, all right, let's dive right into the old weekly wrap up.
So I see you've been playing more Neath, Eric.
A lot of Neath. I can't
lot
back away from Neath.
A lot of Neath.
Yes, a lot of Neath. I think last week I was talking a lot of Neath. And I was talking about a lot of the builds, the attack builds, and all this kind of stuff. I'm playing a little bit less of Bakasura, which is my second most played god, MPG,
Wow.
if you will. Only by 1%. So,
But you had an epic game where you tried to jungle with him. How'd that go?
it was very, it was very, very sad. Actually,
That was glorious in the ultimate failure that came from that attempt.
Yeah, it was kind of sad. So I got Boomba's mask,
Okay.
and
Are you really going over?
ran out there. No, just Boomba.
Okay,
I got the Boomba,
You got the boom.
and I ran out there, and I was laning on Conquest with Brent,
Yeah.
and you were playing ISIS, and it was tough. It was
I
very
heard
tough.
this a lot.
What did
You
you?
have been slain.
Now what happened with you? Why did you fail at jungling?
Okay, so I was laning with ISIS, and I got to about level 4 or 5 before I jumped out of the lane, and then let ISIS just own the lane and level up as far as you could, and then I jump into the jungle and I'm killing everything, getting all the buffs and all the stuff, and I kept seeing other people switching lanes, which is kind of weird because.
On the other team.
Yeah, on the other team. And it's like, well, they weren't really jungling. They were just like shifting lanes so much that in the jungle at level 6 or 7 or whatever, and of course Bakasura is like a carry. I mean, my power is in 15 plus, so I would get ganked by like 2 people.
Yeah.
And it was like, why are there 2 other people in the jungle roaming around?
Why were you over on their jungle? Why didn't you stay in your
No,
jungle?
I was in the south jungle.
Oh,
I was in
really?
our jungle. Yeah, and I'm like, what's happening here? It was a Sobek and Athena. Freaking 2
That
tanks.
Sobek was a jerk too.
Yeah. So
It's the meta right now. Sobek's the meta.
It kept
He's
going down and
supposedly
down.
the best tank right now.
Really?
Yeah.
So I found myself underleveled. Everybody else leveled above me. like on our team and the other team.
Yeah, like you went on someone, and I was like, dude, he's like double your level. No wonder he tore you up. And Wes was like, no, he's not. And I was like, no, he.
Yeah, and then I hear like cries on the left lane. It's like, hey, I need some help on the left lane. I'm like, yeah, I'm the jungler. I'm the assassin. I'm Bakasura. I'm awesome.
I'm the feeder.
I go over there and I die. I'm squishy.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, you died really bad. Like it was really bad.
It was kind of bad. So wow, like I think I'm good with Bakasura in close quarters with lots of people, like an arena.
Well, keep something in mind. It was your first time to jungle ever.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing. Like most people aren't jungling probably till they're like 30. Like because it's just not really in the early game, like meta. And quit pointing. Confusing us. Confusing me.
I'm sorry I'm confusing you.
We like the air conditioning.
There's a background hiss.
I'm
I'm disturbed by it. The audio engineer in me is...
Awesome.
Off topic. So, anyway, I think keep trying it out. Keep trying some jungling. Maybe not when you're grouped up with us, but, you know, when you're with other people.
Like a solo jungler, maybe?
Yeah, just so you don't make us lose.
Yeah. It's so hard to... like collaborate with other solo people.
Well, I've noticed I'm jungling more lately, like casually. Like whenever I be back, I will stop over and I'll kill those harpies on the right.
Yeah.
And I'll get the speed buff, the ogre speed buff on the right before I go back to the middle lane.
Right.
And I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, when we have a jungler, I imagine that's, not as good because I'm taking potential kills from the jungler. But at the same time, like, I feel like it gives me a little extra oomph when I go back out in the lane.
True, yeah.
And I think that's really, that's kind of the early game thing. What you do until people are starting to jungle is everybody shares the jungle. And even I think in some of the later games that, there's... Smite hasn't really been big on jungling, I think, until they started adding, like, Boomba's Mask.
Yeah.
And kind of said, no, you're supposed to, we need a jungler. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think we'll learn a lot in the next 10 levels and then trying some ranked games and stuff like that. Because that's we got a lot of comments on some of the things we said last week. I know I made some comments about some people that I didn't think were underpowered, that I thought it was just, people not playing them right. And we'll talk. We got an email about that, so we'll talk about that later.
I would love to know why jungling is even necessary at all.
Well, it's more XP for your team. Okay, so like when you jungled, even though you didn't level up because it's your first time jungling, you didn't know how to do it properly and level up at the same time.
Yeah.
I was only one level behind the mid. Like normally you're not going to have that. Normally the mid's going to be 3 or 4 levels above both sides. Well, here I am the same level as him, basically, give or take a level. Because you're off jungling and I'm getting all the XP.
Yeah, but... Yeah, okay, I could see that like in mid-game, but like ultimately everybody's going to be 20.
Yeah, but your goal... Does it matter? But your goal is to make sure that you're getting there faster, because if you're out-leveling the other side... then you can kill them more often, and then you will get more XP for the kills and more gold for the kills.
And hopefully you'll end the game before everybody's 20.
Okay.
Like, right? Like, if you get up to 20, good deal, but you want them to be, 15, 17. And
so it's all about the push. Like, being higher level and being able to push further before everybody's 20?
Yeah, it's kind of like what you look at it is like you're sitting there laning, right? And it's like you push them all the way to the tower, and it's 2 of us going at it. We're level 5, 6, doing no damage to the tower, right?
Yeah.
But come back 10 levels later, everybody's 15, and we've back thinking, oh, we're good. And 2 seconds, they take out a tower. It's all because of their level, right? And so now they're able to take down towers a lot faster.
Just look at the jungle as a bunch of unclaimed XP and gold.
Right.
Okay, and if you've got somebody who is going out there and claiming all of that, and then as it respawns claiming it again, then basically your side is getting more gold and XP.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
In like other MOBAs, usually the jungler would start off at level 1, maybe with some help to kill the first, mobs or whatever. But they'll start ganking at like level 4.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, one lane's kind of holding. The difference is too, like, because the two teams aren't playing the same game because they don't have a jungler.
Yeah.
Well, then you're kind of handicapped because you have two people in your lane. Like, normally once you get to the end, you basically have one lane where it's like, one person against one person because you both have junglers out there.
Yeah.
Right? But before we're actually in that level where everybody's kind of playing the same game, it's kind of weird things happen.
Yeah, I guess weird things happened. Also, I have a new entry into the Hall of Shame.
Really?
So, yeah, a little guy who goes by the name of Deathbringer.
Bringa?
Yeah.
I love how we're just like, oh, who cares? We're calling them out.
Who cares? Maybe I should stop doing this. I don't know. But for now, Deathbringer, he really sucks.
Like his play skill?
How much does he suck?
So much that I had to mute him. And after I muted him,
That's too bad.
I actually kind of enjoyed the game after that. I was like, why did I just mute the other guy from last week? So, and this happens in Conquest. Always happens in Conquest. I've never had anybody else, dispute or like yell or scream at anything. So in Conquest, this young lad said, he starts off saying, "Hey, Neith, why you making a mage build?" No, I wasn't Neith. Who was I? I was Ao Kuang. Ao Kuang.
The dragon.
Yeah.
And you were doing a mage build with Ao Kuang.
Yeah, and I'm like, so that I could, have more mana and push further.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being all like, technical. I'm like, this is, I want more mana. I want more MP5, and I'm pushing. He's a pusher, And he's like, yeah, because you're a mage. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's just stupid. Whatever. So then he comes back, and he keeps pointing out that my build is stupid. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to ignore that one. And then he comes back and he keeps, like, targeting me. And I'm like, oh, there's so many other people. Like, why are you targeting me? I'm actually not doing bad right now. I didn't have the most kills. I didn't have the most deaths either. So
Right.
I'm not doing bad.
That's when
or
you
anything.
can point out the person with the most deaths and tell them, hey, yell at him.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
At least, right? So.
Look at the smelly kid. You should pick on him.
it's the
Smelly guy.
prison.
He stinks.
Play Smite like you're in a prison.
Yeah, yikes.
Like as soon as you log in, beat someone with a chair.
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, God.
No, that's a later segment.
Yeah. So, I don't know. He just kept pushing, and he's like, Ao Kuang sucks, and this whole team blows, and we've already lost, and oh my God, it's so horrible. Why do I even own a PC? Why am I playing games? I was like, oh, stop crying, please, just for a second. So
you muted him.
yeah, I mean, he got a little more, like, the second that he started getting personal, I'm like, come on. This is a game. Like, the second that you go personal, that means you're on the edge of aggressiveness, and you're trying so hard to, like, break this person down. And I'm like, I'm not falling for that crap anymore. Whatever. So I just muted him. Bam. Done. So who knows the horrible things he said to me all throughout the game, because I couldn't hear it. I couldn't see it or anything.
Yeah.
No one else alerted me and said, burn. You're like, why aren't you saying anything back? I was waiting for that. I kept looking at the chat. I was like, is anybody going to, like, call it out? But anyway, so the rest of the game was okay. So at the very end of the game, I realized that after having done the research on reporting players last week, I was like, oh, yeah, let me go ahead and report them. I want to go through the motions and just
do
see
it.
it, Not that it's really going to make a huge difference, but from Hi-Res themselves, they said they do occasionally ban players.
Well, we'll talk about that more later. We actually have some info on that.
Yeah, but with a high frequency of reports or whatever. So I went ahead and reported them, and I clearly stated what had happened. And that was it. So I didn't actually block him. I just muted him during the gameplay. So that means that if I play with Deathbringer again, I will have to hear his taunts.
Well, it's funny because last week you put someone on the list of shame.
Yes.
Which was who?
His name was Beatasaur.
And the funny thing was, as soon as you did that, I went and sent him a friend request. And, you know, I kind of had this, like, my whole goal was like, okay, I'll friend him, and then I'll be able to, like, you know, spew venom at him anytime I want, right? Like, anytime I have a bad day, I'll just, man, work sucked today, and I get home, and I go, oh, Beatasaurus is on. I'm going to yell at him, tell him what a jerky kid he is. But instead, like, you know, I wasn't actually going to do that. But then, like, a couple days later, he, like, invited me just out of the blue into a game. And I'm like, what do I do?
Oh, no.
Like, do I just not accept? So I joined the game, and it was him and, like, some of his buddies. Like, joined me into a party of, like, you know, 4 rebel rousers that I should ban them all, right? Like,
Totally.
but I didn't. They were like, hey, do you got Skype? And I was like, not right now. Like, I don't like.
You
what
need to make a burner account.
Well, yeah.
I thought you were like a fellow troll or something. He's like,
Yeah.
he's gonna help us like burn those noobs.
I think so. He's like, oh, he must have liked how I yelled at that Eric Fullerton guy.
Yeah.
So we played a game, and they were all like, okay, like no one really sucked on the team so much, so they didn't have any venom to spew.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the game was over, and I was like, oh, okay, that wasn't too bad. Let's you know, let's go play something else. Well, they like queued immediately, got me into another game.
Oh no.
Well, this one, like, he was going off on one of his friends in the group, and then his friend was going off. Like, they were just like, rah, 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 at each other, like, the whole game. And I was just sitting there laughing. Like, this is, like, you know, it's like they eat their own. Like, they don't care. Like, you're my friend. I invited you to a party, but you sucked this game. So I'm going to tell you sucked and why your mother sucks. Like, you just suck. So anyway, I kept him on my friends list, and it's not like we're friends, like we're not like chatting now late night or anything. But I thought maybe we could get a game in sometime and get him on Skype, maybe like on a weekend when we do the show, and confront him.
Oh, I like
him,
that.
and just like have like 10 questions that's not like abusive, but just straight up like, so. Do you feel that it actually helps people's play style by calling them a mother effer?
Like a psychologist or something?
Yeah, like, and like, see, honestly,
Do you have
like,
a
what he says.
Do you have a constructive relationship with your mother?
That would be great, man. Great sound clips. We'll play it right here on the podcast. So that's our thing. We're gonna try that this week.
So
right?
I got him. I mean, he's still on my friends list, I think, and unless he got banned.
Oh, we're gonna have an awesome thing to play next week. I hope. We're gonna get some haters on the show.
Squidner's like, how do you think that makes them feel?
Okay, so we did get some. Oh wait, did you? Actually, I wanted to also talk about something else. We had some gods that people thought were underpowered, and blah 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 blah. We'll talk more about it later. But I played one of them, which was Kali, and oh my god, I freaking hate Kali. Like, it is like someone was like, "Oh man, you're a glass cannon." I'm like, "No, I'm just glass." Like,
yeah, but if you get up against a good Kali, those people can tear you up.
Yeah.
It's like it's the same thing with like Arachne. I hate Arachne. I can't imagine how anyone can play Arachne well. But when someone does, it's deadly.
But it's like, my problem is like with Kali, you've got to have like this cohesive team unit, at least in Arena, because I played her in Arena. Now I can see in Conquest like getting caught out by her. Like, yeah, she can like do 101, like awesome. But in like Arena, it's just like with Fenrir or Loki, you can get in there, do something, and get out. With her, you're all in.
Yeah,
like, there's no way to leave once you're in
There's
there.
no leaps.
So you like sit there the whole time waiting for your team to go in, And if you never have that like push for the team to go in, you're just sitting there.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do except for feed off the edges.
Well, that's just it. I think Kali and Bakasura are a lot the same. Bakasura, you don't like go in a little bit with Bakasura. You don't go up and nibble on somebody. If you're going to go in, you go in and you spew everything you've got on them and you try to take them down.
Yeah.
Literally, with Bakasura, you spew on them.
Yeah. Little barf.
Yeah. So no, I think it's just play styles, and I think I think it's with certain characters there are certain styles that you have to take, and I don't like Kali. I've played Kali. I don't like Arachne. I've enjoyed Bakasura, but only on
He has leap, so you can get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Kali, it's nothing. Like nothing. Like you've basically got a buff, 2 hits, and then the spinny thing. Like it's always like all damage. Like I'm gonna kill you. Oh wait, I'm dead because I have nothing to do. And I guess A, I don't know how to play her, and B, there's apparently a good build where you're doing like regen and leeching, life stealing, life stealing that works well for us. So maybe if I'd done that route, but oh my god, I hated that game.
Yeah. No, you were terrible at her. I'll vouch for you. You were really, really horrible.
Really terrible.
It was bad.
But I had less deaths than you. That was the good thing.
Yeah,
That's right.
but I may have died more, but I was good.
It's not possible. You're sending mixed messages to people we're going to play with. So keep that in mind when you feed this blasphemy out through the airwaves. It's going to go in some people's ear canals, and they go, Wes said deaths don't matter.
Wes said that
Wes
no,
Wilson.
deaths matter. They do. But at the same time, there are times when you get ganged up upon, you get ganked, and it doesn't. And I don't necessarily think that kills and deaths are the absolute litmus test of whether you did well.
No, but if you get ganked 10 times in a game. Anyway, so do we have any more weekly stuff to talk about? We got some community stuff.
I mean, I play it about every single day, multiple times every day, but the highlights
are done. Okay,
so that guy.
We have a couple comments we got from YouTube, which were interesting. The first one here is from Nick Heckman, and this is, I guess. Well, anyway, we'll just read what they said. If you guys are still wondering why some characters gain physical attack power when they're very obviously not supposed to do basic attacks, it's just so you can help take down towers since abilities don't affect them. The reason mages don't gain passive magic power per level is kind of a MOBA legacy thing. Mages have always depended on items to increase ability damage. Smite has started phasing that out with Zeus and Isis passives, but it's still a special case. So I guess the whole Aphrodite thing was she can take towers down better.
Yeah, but I never. I guess maybe I'm crazy, but if somebody was listed as magical as their damage type, that's the damage they did with their basic attack as well.
Right.
I mean, if physical attack is what the basic attacks from 90% of the gods are, then physical defense is always a good idea. Always. Because it takes half the special stuff out and also 90% of the basic attacks.
Well, I think this is just part of not understanding some of the mechanics of the game, but like I would think of it as like towers are physical and not magical, so you need to be doing physical damage to them to penetrate that physical defense versus magical defense. So having a higher magical ability wouldn't help you as much as physical against a physical object.
Yeah, but
so maybe a Phoenix would be different. I don't know if they're magical opposed to physical.
Right, but how about just basic attacks towards towers only count, right? It doesn't matter if you're physical or magical, as long as it's a basic attack.
Right, but it's their defense I'm talking about.
Oh, the defense?
Yeah. So they're a physical object. They're not a magical object.
Right.
So you need a higher physical damage to do damage to them. Completely making this up. Have no clue.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about like magical, like mages with a little bit of physical.
Right, but we're wrong. So I'm trying to figure out why we're wrong. So if
Oh,
we
yeah.
just keep saying, "Oh no, we're
Well,
right,"
yeah, I mean, okay,
well,
yeah.
no, we're not. We're
Well,
wrong.
yeah.
So it's like
I mean,
trying
you're
to figure
right.
out why we're wrong.
Yeah. I mean, that may be the explanation, but I think it's as simple as just only basic attacks take down towers. That's easy. You don't have to figure out magical or physical or
Right, but your basic attacks are affected by your powers.
yeah. So if you have magic power pumped into your mage and you're doing basic attacks towards the tower, why shouldn't that just take the tower down? Who cares?
No, I agree that there's shoulds there, and I think that the person here is even admitting that this is legacy stuff from a different system.
Okay.
Basically, it's just how things work currently.
Right.
And so we were going off based off logic.
Right. Yeah.
Right? I mean, basically.
No, that's what I was.
I agree with you. Completely logical. Like, you're magic. Why do you need physical? Well, it's because you're not going to build physical stuff on a magic person. So we inherently have to give you a way to get the physical for some reason.
Yeah, totally.
I agree. Take it out.
Yeah.
Use the magic against the towers.
But I mean, I feel stupid.
But just basic attacks. No specials. Because
No.
specials is iffy because everybody's balanced differently.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't want to do ultras. You don't want to do 2s or 3s or 4s or nothing.
Well, then I
Now-
was kind because I took the information from YouTube and not Reddit where they were laughing at us.
Yeah.
Reddit was laughing at us.
Well,
oh yeah, I did
the-
see that comment. Yeah.
And so it's a little nicer. The people that are laughing at us, I think you got to understand, well, where did you learn this information?
right. Let
Like,
us know.
I
Right.
haven't seen a place that tells me that information.
Right.
And maybe it's on, smite.gamepedia.com. There's a plug for
or
old
Smite
curse.
Fire. Isn't there a something? Should I not plug sites?
Smite.gamepedia. You realize I work for gamepedia.com. So when you start telling our
that one right
editor-
there. Yeah.
But and I was going to say something and I lost my
I'm
train of
sorry, I interrupted you completely. It was about logic-based attacks in a non-logical based game. We're
I mean,
gods.
so now
It's a tower. I think I
knowing
can smite the tower.
knowing this now, okay, knowing what we now know, which is that
Build physical
all
on
towers
everybody.
do physical damage.
Yep.
Physical damage will protect from the basic attacks of all but 3 of the gods, and that magical characters don't have their damage go up level by level except for 3 of the gods on their you know what I'm saying? It seems totally logical to me now that everybody should always get physical defense. And if everyone knew this, that might balance the tables a little bit. But as it is, like, I feel a little cheated because I've got Aphrodite, I'm leveling up magic stuff, and I think that people are going to get magical armor to defend against me. You get my drift?
Yeah. So it's almost like when
Well,
you're
and if you're
building
building
your
magic,
team.
they really should, right?
Yeah. But at the same time, like,
Well, if you're building your team towards a conquest, wouldn't you just say, "Okay, guys, we want to take those towers down the fastest we can. Let's all go physical."
right.
That's stupid.
Yes, but if you're dead, you can't take a tower down. So you first have to do your gear towards the other team.
But at the same time, the team is 90% of the gods are going to be doing physical basic attacks.
But basic attacks. I mean,
I know.
those shouldn't be killing you. If those are killing you, then you're doing something wrong.
No, but at the same time, you've got 2 kinds of stuff here. You've got physical specials, magical specials, physical attacks, and mostly physical attacks. So if you buy physical armor, you're covering, 75% of the spectrum.
Right.
I don't know.
75%.
Yeah.
This is where my math doesn't.
Well, if you've got physical specials, magical specials, physical attacks, magical attacks, and most of the magical attacks are physical basic attacks.
But that's not what they're saying. They're saying you're still doing physical and magical damage, but you need to do extra physical towards the towers. So you're doing both.
My basic
physical-
attack is still physical, is what they were saying.
I think they're saying it's both, but you need more physical in there to take the towers down.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
I'll look into that. I misunderstood
I
that.
seriously have no clue, and I don't even know where to look it up. I think we'll have to take the internet's word, and we know how great that
I
is.
know.
Right?
God, stupid
So and
internet.
maybe we could just ask, Gabe. Say, look, can you get, or maybe we can just get someone for high res to like just explain.
How
this
about
to
Denton?
us.
Hi-res Denton? Huh?
No, Denton won't explain anything.
Why? He's the ogre.
I know.
Hitman can link an
I'm the one that
answer
taught
to
you
us.
his
So
name.
link it.
I remember.
Can someone
that.
give Hitman some link access real quick so we can link this to us?
Oh, yeah. Are we going to get the...
and he's saying, mages auto attacks do very little damage. Most of their damage comes from their skills.
and no, not Gabe Newell. That Gabe
Thank
doesn't
you,
know.
Alice and Chris.
We're streaming this live, by the way, and we're interacting with the chat room. We do this show every Friday. Might as well pimp it out. We do this show live every Friday. If you go to deadworkers.com/live, you can watch this live and interact and correct our wrongs.
Okay, this is a little long, but this comes from Hitman in the chat room. And this is Stack Exchange on gaming. And basically the question was, which attacks in Smite do physical damage and which do magical? The answer that got the 2 votes, so let's pull the salt shaker out a little bit, but definitely more than we know. It goes on to say, all basic attacks do physical damage. That's what balances physical and magical gods. Magical damage gods do a lot more damage with their skills, but their basic attacks are weak. Physical damage gods have strong basic attacks, but weaker skills. Some of them have strong skills, but those ones have melee auto attacks, so they're not overpowered. You can tell what type of damage a skill does by looking at the description. I think we all knew that. There are 2 things you have to look at: what type of damage an ability does and what stat it scales with. In the above picture, which is Zeus's lightning storm, you can see
You're going too deep. I don't think we need to worry about this. Is talking about skills. I mean, this is talking about abilities, and we know those can be damage, both magical and physical.
Yeah, I guess so. True.
So the basic attacks are physical. Is what this is essentially saying, except for Zeus, Isis, and who's number 3? Athena. No. It was said in
Anubis?
the email.
I don't know.
Zeus and Isis, I think, is it. So anyway,
So basically, it's even,
okay,
right?
I don't agree.
Well, if their basic attacks are very weak, you can't equate it to someone's attacks who are very strong. I mean, if they're doing 25% of the damage and theirs is doing 75, well then, you know what I mean. So it's not. It still equates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, you gear for physical against your mage opponent, and you're gonna die.
I agree, but the point is that on the whole, if you're gonna armor up against your opponents, and they are a mix of physical and magical, you are much wiser to choose physical all the time.
I don't agree. If the physical basic attacks aren't doing much damage to you, and that's not what's hitting you.
Well,
and you're
I mean,
getting
I
slammed
agree.
with
If you're up
magic
against,
stuff,
if all you're getting hit by is magical skills, then yes. If the person you're laned with is magical and you are never getting hit by their auto attacks, yes, go for magical. But otherwise, if you're just going to, in general, armor yourself up against your opposing team, and you're expecting yourselves all, like, especially if you're going to be in like an arena or something, always go physical. You'll defend against all the basic attacks from almost everybody. You'll defend on all the skills from all the physical people. The only thing you're missing are the skills from the magical people.
Right, just the mages.
which are doing much more damage than their physical attacks that probably aren't hitting you anyway.
Okay, I'm just saying, I think it's smart.
And you're wrong.
Yeah, oh, he's
So
going you wrong.
We'll agree to
snap.
disagree, but
He's going to agree to win this argument. I don't know.
and it's not just my opinion. It's the people who play ranked's opinion.
Okay.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. I don't want to give out completely false information on the show.
And that's why I said I feel. This is what I.
So
think.
we also got a YouTube comment from High Res Austin who says, "Hey guys, I just wanted to take the time to point out a forum post I made a while back that explains how the reporting system works." So I went and looked up the link, and it's some interesting information. And basically, last time we were saying we weren't really sure, what they did. So this is a nice post. We'll definitely link it in the show notes.
Yeah.
I was trying to get down to where, but basically, so they basically, track. They look at every report.
Yeah.
And the following offenses: leaving, harassment, and intentional feeding. So with your first offense, and this is where, like, they say yes, you're did something wrong. Your first offense is a 3-day ban. Second offense, 7-day ban. Third offense, 14-day ban. Fourth offense, 30-day ban. And fifth offense,
Done.
1 year.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's time to get a new account, right?
That's nice. I like that. So Beatasaur and Deathbringer. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you gotta give them, but they got enough bans. Like, I don't think one report's gonna be enough.
Right.
But they're probably getting more, right?
Well, I mean, if you're an ass, every time you play,
you're
gonna rack up the reports, so you're gonna just do yourself in. So
I was trying to get down to where he explained it a little more.
That's awesome.
High res.
And head on to what is it? Forum.highresstudios.com. That is the official forums where you can see people complaining as well as people correcting people's wrongs.
Okay, and here's where
speculation.
High Res Austin came in and kind of clarified the position about everything. He said, I just wanted to provide some clarification about how the system works and hopefully address some of the concerns raised here. One, player reports are all human reviewed in some way. Each individual report may not be seen on its own, but the collective number of reports against a player are reviewed and offenses identified. If the number of times a player has been reported exceeds a certain threshold, which we defined, their reports are then reviewed by a high-res staff member. If enough reports prove to be legitimate, the player receives the appropriate suspension based on the number of offenses they have committed. For example, the first offense suspension is 3 days. There's 2 tiers of offenses. Intentional feeding is often a hot topic, and I want to make it very clear that this is scrutinized heavily. Going 0-8 in a game does not mean that a player is feeding, so you're safe, Wes. I think actually we both went 0 and 8 in that one. Or someone went 0 and 9.
Yeah, report for feeding. I think that's the lamest thing.
But he says, I can look through 95% of player records and find a game where they had a 0-8 game or worse. Intentional feeding is evaluated based on several factors, including account level, rating, consistency, god selection, and verbal communication. If there's not strong evidence to suggest intentional feeding, no action is taken. It's also very important to note that verbally stating in chat that you intend to feed will almost always result in a suspension. Please remember that sarcasm and humor is much harder to detect through chat.
See? Sarcasm on the internet doesn't work. You got to be straight up. You got to say what you mean. But I think that's a good thing that there's a lot of parameters in there, and it's not just somebody, yeah, he's feeding, man.
Yeah, and they say basically if you get a tier 2 offense, which is the, what was that, like threats, racism, and yelling at Wes, I think, is to email high-res support at highresstudios.com. So even skip the other stuff. Like, we should probably email them about those guys who are doing the fishy stuff.
Yeah, they're still active.
Yeah, because I don't know if I told you, but I had another game last week where we were just losing. I mean, in Assault, we were flat out going to lose. And so some guy on our team dropped. And all of a sudden, we all zoomed up to 20 level and just steamrolled the other team.
Oh, okay.
So it's like as little as one player dropping can cause a win.
Yeah. The last game here had 2 people of similar offensive names teamed up with to 2v5, 4v5, and Good Game 3 versus 5.
Oh, jeez.
They won.
Those guys.
So they sat there, level 1. The other 2 people continued playing and beat the other team in Conquest because they were level 16 and 15, and they were up against 9s and 8s.
Wow. Those guys are jacked. Jacked up, man.
So
Jacked. It's so jacked. Okay, so I think we
Is it time for a code?
Yeah, it's time for some codes. So I hope
Who
you're
wants a
following
code?
us in the chat room. We're gonna update. Make sure we have everybody. All 136 of you are in the draw for this. Even our moderators, because dang it, they're worth it.
I'm in the chat room.
And you won.
Did I really?
No.
The
winner
Yeah?
is Harry Hughes.
Yeah!
Harry_Hughes.
Yay for Harry Hughes. They are in the chat room. There he is. Harry. There he is. He said, "Oh yeah."
And I am sending you that code right now. That
Congrats.
delicious code. So enjoy it. Also, Clyde Frog. We were joking about not giving out the code earlier. Clyde Frog and Afro Monkey, you both have codes waiting on you.
And that
As
was a
well.
random draw before
Those are all
the show.
random draws.
Nice.
And that was Harry Hughes. And we have one more to give away next week, so I hope you're leaving those iTunes reviews and have a chance to win.
Yeah. And we change up the codes all the time. Gabe, the excellent Gabe, gives us all kinds of excellent codes for God unlocks, skins, gems.
Gems. Jim Bobs.
What other kind of codes can we get?
Secret codes for Prism.
New game modes that nobody knows about?
That's right.
No, maybe that's not true. but-
SmiteCon is going to be in Disney World this year.
Yes,
We found that out.
SmiteCon tickets. We're going to give those away too.
SmiteCon is in Columbus Day weekend here in Huntsville.
It's in
with
Pakistan.
Workers Party.
It's in Pakistan, sadly.
Okay, so let's move on. We got
All right.
a little bit of Smite news this week. We have another patch.
Yeah. A small one.
Yeah, so the synopsis, we'll link to the patch notes, but basically Golden Emir.
Yeah.
And they fixed some Nija was apparently getting some bonuses she shouldn't have been getting, and someone from the
she
forums,
shouldn't have been getting.
Yeah, like she was killing people like she shouldn't be.
Oh, like a lunatic.
Yeah,
it's a he.
He.
It is
I
a
always
he.
forget.
He
man.
is a
Yeah.
prince.
It's yeah.
It's kind of weird. Very feminine.
So, but it was really cool. Someone on the forums like basically detailed out the issue, and they used that to be able to debug it and fix it, and they even thanked him in the patch notes. So
Nice.
it's really cool.
That's cool. Excellent.
And that brings us to
Hugging
and money.
Merle.
Hugging
Hugging.
and
Money.
money.
Hugging and mugging.
and money. Hugging and money and hugging.
Hugging
Hugging
and money.
And money and hugging. And mugging.
Hugging and munning.
Okay, so this is
This
our
is the
mailbag.
Mailbag.
We should have like the Eagles like.
Caca. Caca.
Would you think it's poop hitting, but really it's the mailbag they dropped.
Caca. Yeah. Yeah. Could be poop. Could be mail. Who knows?
Well, let's open up and see.
All right. What's the
Oh.
first letter in that poop bag there,
It may
sir?
be poop. It's from Squidner, who says, hi. So I would like to inform you about the alternative casting modes. In the options under gameplay, you can find quick casting, which is the most useful because you don't need to click to cast. There's a big downside, though, being you can misclick and accidentally use. Excluding this, I think quick is the best because you can swiftly carry out plays and can even save you in team fights. So yeah, what do y'all think about that?
Quick
Y'all
casting.
tried quick casting?
No.
No.
They had it in law, and all the good players in the office used it. I never did.
Really?
So I don't know. I tried it like once and it was just kind of bizarre to me. Like I think it takes a little getting used to.
So it's in LOL, not in Smite.
No, it is in Smite.
It is in Smite.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about it.
It's in the options. So like instead of like, you know how now when you press a button it'll give you the arrows for where your thing's going.
Right.
Well, in this one you hit the button and it shoots.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So and if you have things that at least in LoL, if you had things that were,
I could see how that could be cool.
yeah.
I think I'm in the middle. Like I would have to know that it's on. Definitely, I would have to practice.
Yeah.
Actually,
Well, practice
Either way.
makes perfect.
but I don't know that it's like better. It's just another option. It feels like, right?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that like you have an advantage. I don't know. You know,
I haven't mucked around with it. So.
I might try. I might try it for a round or two with Neath. Maybe. I don't know. That's kind of cool. It's good to know. Thanks, Squids.
Thanks, Quince. And this one I think was kind of directed at me because I was the one trying to say that these gods weren't underpowered. So
Yeah.
Anyway, this email says the gods like Bakasura, Bastet, Vulcan, and Anubis who get singled out for being underpowered are underpowered in competitive play. The issue is that their kids don't work well in coordinated play, like Bastet, Bakasura lacking significant control and team play elements, or Anubis having to stand still to use two of his abilities, which makes him an easy target. Vulcan's turrets are quickly demolished by coordination, and his uses in a team fight against good players is extremely limited.
Yeah.
In casual play, basically all gods can get work done when played with some level of skill, except Bastet. Bastet just sucks. Logan. I like Bastet in single play, but
I don't really play much Bastet. I don't think any god sucks per se. But anyway, that's not really what he's talking about. So,
and I understand this like to a degree. Like this was in LoL too, and yeah, I probably have a little bit of like, well, you know, I got owned by these characters, so they must be decent, right? But in the end, when you're playing a ranked game, like you need your best 5, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, if you pick a god that there's a better god for that same role, like really better than there's a, you know, you're not really playing to the best of that game so much.
oh yeah, so that comes down to we're queuing for, say, I don't know, an arena.
Yeah.
Right, and everybody's got their favorite gods they're really good at. Like I'll pick Bakasura or Neath, and Wes on Water Fish Boy, and you're playing who knows, Isis, or who do you play in arena these days?
Isis.
Anyway, everybody picks their thing, and then somebody's like, "Who should I play? Who should I play? We need a tank." We're like, "Well, play." I could play this guy or this guy. It's like playing who you're good at, right?
Yeah.
Like, is that worth more than having a better like a composure, like
Not
a team?
ranked or competitive. Like a ranked or competitive, you just need to be good at the. Like if you're going to be playing a tank, you need to be good at the best tanks. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. And there's a good thread. We'll link to it in the sightings about like what you need to know and do before you play ranked. And most of it was basically, you know, being able to play like 3 of the gods in each role.
Yeah.
You know, so if you get banned out, you'll still have you know, a choice to play. So
Yeah.
you know,
I would say just like be good at everybody, right? Give them all a chance.
give them all a chance.
You know, because like it always comes down to like, who should I play? And it's like, don't play somebody you don't know. I mean, obviously, you're going to bring the entire team down. It's going to suck. The game's going to be losing. We're just going to fool around until we die. We're going to hit F6.
But at the same time, I have noticed that teams without tanks, in general, unless they're extremely coordinated, are going to be facing some significant problems.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, play who you like, but at the same time, if it's going to... Sometimes playing a tank can make the difference with your team.
Yeah.
Well, but
Whether
say,
you can play them mediocre or not is not as important.
well, say someone's not good with any tank, but he's left with that tank position.
Well, why is he left with that tank position?
Well, because nobody else is tank.
Well, but
So what do
why?
you say?
Why?
Well, I mean,
Okay,
you got mages and assassins.
That's the first problem. If you're playing ranked, if you jump in and pick a guy and lock in, well, that's just as bad as picking a bad person.
Oh yeah, I
right?
wouldn't lock in.
So in a ranked game, you're going to need to get in, talk to people. Okay, what are you good at? What are you good at? Okay,
Right.
okay, I'm good at this and this.
Well, I'm just talking about casual pugs.
Well, but this is that. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We're talking one thing when there's this whole other thing, like. So we got to remember there's kind of two sides of the coin here. There's casual play and ranked.
yeah.
And casual, it doesn't matter.
But the occasion still arises in a casual game too. Like people are like, seriously, man, we need a tank. And
Because
it's like,
we play with competitive people.
Yeah.
I think I'm competitive. I think Wes is competitive. I mean, I think there's some competitive
right.
natures in all of us. And so it's like, I don't want to just pick a comp that I know is going to get stomped because we don't have a tank. So
Right.
a lot of times now I will wait to lock in and make sure.
Yeah,
The
don't
roles
lock
are
in like the first second. You're cool to like pick that god that you're really good at that you want to play, but don't lock in, right?
Yeah.
And then I've seen like in chat, in the lobby chat, they'll be like, "Hey, is it cool if I play Neath? I'm really good, and it's like okay, cool. You know, I'll play whatever else."
And then they always suck, right? You're like, I
But,
could have
like-
done a better Neath.
But like, if that occasion arises and there has to be a Neath, or not a Neath, I mean a tank, and everybody else is not locked in, should someone else back down and say, well, actually, I'm good at Odin. I'll be a tank, and you go ahead and be what you're good at. I would say that'd be a good team play move, right?
Yeah, I think it's definitely if no one wants to be tank and you're willing to.
Yeah.
it's
Rather
definitely a
than that
choice.
guy going, okay, I'll play Odin or Ymir or whatever.
I mean, Ymir's really awesome when he's played well, but even when he's played poorly, he's okay. If anybody needs a tank, somebody can jump in as Ymir and probably do okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes.
Well, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't write off saying that any god is easy.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the difficulty curve on Ymir is not as steep.
3-2. 3-2.
Yeah, it's like Ares or Odin.
Screw the
or
wall. 3-2. 3-2.
Yeah.
Like, I suck at Ymir, but I can do 3-2.
Yeah.
Right? I suck at throwing the wall. I'm going to block you from that kill.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Right.
lock them out. I'm going to do everything wrong with the wall, but I can get 3-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with that. I think that's...
So, I mean, the thing is that sometimes your team makeup is important. And I agree, locking in is bad. But at the same time, like, saying, hey, can you go tank? And I mean, even a Hades tank. Oh
Yeah.
darn, periodically we suck people in. Even if he dies more often, if everybody else is playing the class that they're really good at and they can rack up the kills, having one sucky tank sitting there making sure that the other team doesn't get to roll you is a good thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
yeah,
and
true.
the team makeup's going to get more and more important the higher level we get because we're going to be, especially when we group up, we're going to be playing another group that's playing the game how it's supposed to be played, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you were playing Dungeons and Dragons, it's the same thing, right? And the old pen and paper, like, you didn't just all go, oh crap, we all rolled Rangers, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's maybe a bad
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah,
Rangers can
Rangers.
kind of do it all, but like we're all wizards. Like, we're kind of screwed here. You're like,
Yeah.
well, did someone pick a fighter? We need a fighter. Okay, so,
Right.
it's just use that same basic principle.
Yeah. The
Um,
RPG makeup.
yeah. Wow, this is going to be like the first 4 hours Smite podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we got
What's the next one? Hugging and munning.
The next one here says, hey guys, my question for you this week is, how about a dossier-like segment? Because we need the show to be longer.
Yes.
Yeah.
As you did back in the control point times, in which a class is discussed each week with their strengths and weaknesses exposed in a few minutes. It could be called something like, where's your god now?
Nice.
By the way, did you know that given the third-person shooter-like mechanics, the game is a lot of fun with a controller? All you need to do is play around with the settings in-game and use an external program for the analog sticks called X-Patter. Keep up the great show. Love the show, or the work, the show, blah, blah, Link. And there's not a link there. His name's Link. So we got Zelda.
Thanks, Link.
I wonder if that's the actual Link from Zelda.
Maybe. Green tights?
Maybe.
Possibly. It's highly possible.
So, I think we would probably get more wrong than right currently with that segment. I don't know. Like we could pick like.
I mean, we could, and we could spend a week playing one particular character, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's really what we want to do right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want us to all play Bakasura for a week and then feel qualified to talk about it. And as it is right now, we talk about the characters we feel qualified to talk about.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about Amir tonight.
Yeah.
That was our dossier.
And Neith.
There you go.
I talk about Neith and
Where's your
Bakasura.
god now? He's cold and in the Norse wilds.
And he's golden.
Yeah.
Golden. And honestly, I think they do a pretty good job with their intro videos, their introduction videos.
I love those. They're so just right to the point. And the female voiceover, so good.
Yeah.
Really like those.
Yep.
Congrats, Hi-Rez.
They've again, their polish on this game is really supersedes what I would expect from the company.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I mean, you know, I know it's a decent sized company, but the amount of work they're putting out and the effort that goes into everything they do is apparent, and I'm impressed.
It seems like the polygon count of like the models as they run, all the fabric and all this stuff that's just like hooked onto the models are so fluid and so animated that I'm like, why don't I see that kind of polish with like MMOs and stuff? Like World of Warcraft, like the big shoulders and the cool stuff, it's pretty cool, but it doesn't seem like it's even like half as many polygons as these guys. But I do see that little cheat they use when you're about 50 yards away, roughly, or meters or whatever, you know, in game, you can see a little frame rate jump. You ever see this? You see that the frame rate is about half or 3/4 or whatever. As they get closer, the frame rate increases. So
The frame rate on the sprites changes based on their distance from you?
Yes, the animation. Now, this is something I've seen. I've never voiced this. I've never read this anywhere. But if a high-res person, some dev wants to reply to this YouTube video or on Reddit, that'd be awesome. But I always see this, though. That's the draw distance. Jack Saucy, thank you in the
Ison
chat room.
says he's noticed it. Mr. Ison says he's noticed it.
Oh, okay, yeah. It looks a little choppy, and it gets smoother and smoother the closer you are. And I'm like, that's brilliant. It's like mip mapping. It's like, you know, the further away, the more pixelated and more low res it is, but in the time dimension instead of the graphical. I don't know. It's really cool. It's very smart, I think.
Very interesting.
Those high res guys, geniuses.
Geniuses. So that leads us to our next segment.
Next segment is, what is the next segment?
On the eighth
On the eighth day. Nice.
Wow. Energy level.
One day we'll get bumpers.
So we're gonna skip hours unless anybody has something they want to say because we got a ton to get through here.
Oh wow, yeah, we have a lot.
First one here is Hello Dead Workers, and I want a Chronos if the god comes out. Marty McFly skin. He's
You're
not even
missing
listening
that.
because
I
he would
know.
love that.
Marty McFly. What?
His brain like goes back in time.
Sorry, I just got a text message from somebody.
They said y'all are going way too long.
back
Oh.
in time.
Orange jacket thingy and guitar for weapon with custom voice, and ult would be Nobody Calls Me Chicken
Yeah.
with other
chicken?
things.
What, you all
And that's
got
from-
the gumption?
Tefronswa.
I love it. I love anything to do with Back to the Future. I approve.
Yes!
Yes. I mean, I think it doesn't make sense at all because all of a sudden it's a third-party property and it absolutely is a licensing no-no.
Oops!
But I love it.
Okay, next one here. Hey guys, Mr. Ison here. I have a couple of ideas for the game. I think there should be more game modes. The match of the day is nice, but it is only ever a Conquest, Arena, or Assault game type. My first idea is very simple. It's just a 2-lane 3v3 version of Conquest. I know this is in other games as well, and I think it could be pretty easy to implement.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Totally down for new.
It seems that maps, especially like if you didn't like, like you could put them in the practice area
Yeah.
for a while, and then once it feels polished, move it up, to the casual
Oh yeah.
group.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't know why they're not doing more of this.
Well, it might be beta, right? Like after the beta, after the release, maybe that's the time that we start to see new game types and new content. Right now, we're seeing a lot of revisions and, of course, new gods. That's new content, but they got to get what they got now, like revised and.
I
good.
also wonder if it would dilute the matchmaking maybe a little bit right now. Maybe they're waiting for more people playing the game to be able to match people in more modes. Like that's why WoW has a problem introducing new PvP maps, arena maps, types, because and that's why they do like the weekly kind of things monthly, and they group them up because when they have too many people split between the different things, well, they're not getting matches made.
Yeah.
So it could be something like that. I mean, the other thing I can think of is LoL has 3 or 4 map types, and nobody ever plays anything but the main one. I mean, every once in a while,
Conquest or whatever it's called.
But I think I would like to see more maps, and I think how they do their map system may kind of work. How they push you to the next ones, just make the queue longer on some of them than others.
Yeah.
Like if you made a map that was only every 30 minutes, you might be when you catch it that 30 minutes and it's 5 minutes, you might be signing up for it, and waiting 5 minutes to play it.
Oh, that's like in Pandaria, World of Warcraft expansion. Remember the Icy play PvP game that only popped every hour or something? You know what I'm talking about?
I know. Pandaria stuff?
Yeah,
no,
it was right in the middle with the tanks and stuff.
No, you're thinking of Lich King stuff.
No, Lich King, that's right.
Yeah,
Northrend.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, right? It feels very special and very epic. It's like, this is my chance to shine. Yeah.
Kinda.
Rather than every 45 seconds you can jump in here and scrape and scrap at people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, we'll save his other one for next week.
All right, let's do that.
But it's another map idea.
And that's from Mr. Ison. All right,
you
so
read the next one.
Let's see, what is the next one? This is from Rang Karen. Or Ragin Charon.
Ragan. Like Ragnarok.
Ragan.
Right?
He told us, we played with him the other day. Okay, so he's Rang. He says, a few shows back, someone mentioned it would be nice to be able to do solo practice offline for experimenting with builds and new gods. Another feature that needs to be added here is the ability to pause and playing alone against bots.
When
Playing. Oh, okay. I had to understand. Okay. Being able to pause? I don't know about that. I sometimes want to fool around with solo practice while working on something else and get annoyed with that. I can't pause the game and have to sacrifice the experiment run when something interrupts me in real life. Okay, so obviously you want to pause the game like you're playing like a tower defense game. You want to pause it, you want to do something else. But I think it's more like you want to pause it and think about what the game is. I play a lot of say a PopCap game, like Bejeweled or one of those games, right? When you pause the game, everything goes blank because they don't want you to pause the game and look over the map and start building a strategy.
Yep.
So I think this is kind of the thing there, that you don't want to pause the game and think about things. The challenge here is who has the fastest wit, who can think the fastest and just do it. Who can read better than I can, right? I don't want to pause it and start looking over the words. Who could just freaking read it like smooth from A to B all the way to the end. Yeah, A to Z even.
Yeah, I think we answered that one thoroughly.
That's my thoughts.
Sounds good.
So no pausing. No pausing.
I'll say yeah. I love the idea.
For playing against bots.
What does the gods think about this one?
Yes!
Whoa! Wow, they're excited.
Yeah, no, I'm with the West. Like, it's bots.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah,
assume this is like
bots.
doing a conquest against the bot, right? Or the single.
Like a solo or something.
Because, I mean, there is a training area
joust.
where you can go in that has all the mobs in a little area, so you can go practice jungling.
The jungle practice, yeah.
And you can level up, you can get the gold.
I like the arena
So you can kind
practice
of
the
practice
best.
that too.
Yeah. But they got to fix that arena practice. You know what I'm talking about? Those guys
The
that like
3v3?
go back. They go.
Oh, it's
they
horrible.
take 2 steps back and they pause for a second, and then they take 2 steps back and they pause, and they keep doing that until they go home.
Until
you're
they're
like,
dead,
what are you
you mean?
doing? Yeah,
Until
or
they're
until they're
dead.
dead. And you're like, you could stand right behind them and like hump them a little bit, and you're like, what are you doing? It's so weird. I don't know.
Oh, I'll tell you what's weird.
What's weird?
Nothing. So this next one here is from Beardsley.
Beardsley.
It says, "Hey guys, great podcast so far. So I've come up. I've got some on the 8th day ideas for you. The first one, and actually there's a bunch of these, and we're saving the rest for the next few weeks. We don't really have time to go through like 10 ideas for each person.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, come on, it's like 12:30. Anyway, Hell Pack voice. She is by far the most amusingly voiced character in the game so far. I would not only buy it, but also buy Hell and learn to play her just to use it. So Beardsley really wants a Hell
Voice pack. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure it'll happen.
I mean, it's gotta happen, right? I really want. I bought the Neath voice pack. I love it. I really want to buy Kasura one. He's all rah rah rah, but I still want it. I think it'd be cool. But everybody's gonna get one, right? It'd be weird
Sure.
to exclude some gods from their voice packs.
Unless the god's a mute. Are there any gods that are mutes?
No.
No,
No
god of muteness.
no muted
No god of
gods.
tongueless or.
Well, I think
No.
they need to fix that. A mute god that has no voice back.
It's a special one. Feel special that you're a mute. Huh, I don't know.
I
Kinda
think.
weird.
Anyway, before I say what I think, let's just move on here.
We have
to-
a lot more entries. We're gonna save that for
Those
the
are
next
all
week.
for
Yes.
next week. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God!
That's, oh my God. The cool things we've seen on the internets.
Okay, so there's it says video, but it's a link to how to know when you're ready for ranked. This is off Reddit, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
We'll link to this in the show notes. And basically, it just goes over a lot of what we talked about, and it there's actually some good posts about the meta, kind of who's hot and good to play right now and ranked for each of the positions.
Oh.
And it's mainly for if you want to play ranked, like what you need to know to go in there. Like if you're just 30, you probably don't want to go play ranked yet. You know, you want to play some
Yeah.
level 30s and
It's true. Get a little used to it. Break yourself in. Don't want to
Yeah.
freak yourself out.
the other one was one that they tweeted out was some images that Steve Sketches did on some concept art.
Yeah, I really liked the Loki ISIS one he did.
Oh, yeah. All right.
He did a really great one with the ISIS and Loki lurking behind her. That was really awesome.
Wait, I don't see them. Oh, yeah. I want some Smite art hanging up in my bedroom above my
That's
bed.
weird.
If you keep scrolling through all those pictures, I really like the Fenrir a lot.
I want
The
one
that
like
Kayla Austin did.
I want one like on the ceiling so I can sleep and look up and see it.
That's weird too. I'll be
It's kinda
honest
weird.
with you.
You don't
kinda
like
weird.
the...
No, I'm saying for him to wake up and look at it while he's
Yeah, and I'm
sleeping.
like,
Yeah,
what
these are
up?
bad ideas.
I'm like, what up, Neath? Oh man, have you seen the old Neath?
Maybe we can get you a golden cow to put on your shelf too.
Have you seen the original Neath art
No.
from like when the wow? She's all I don't know.
Oh,
wow,
what does
it's-
that mean?
It's Butterface. It's pretty. Wow. I'm really glad they adjusted Neath. I think I was on some website. I was on, I was looking up Neath strats and builds or whatever, and it was a terribly outdated website with a Neath photo, like an avatar.
Right.
Totally weird, like big freckles or zits. I don't even know, like acne. It was weird. It scared me a lot.
Well, you heard it here first. Eric hates people with acne. So
Anyway,
it's weird, kind of. But okay, so we have one here about tourney.
Yeah, this is something that Flora sent me, and this is only for the people who are watching us live. This weekend, Denial Sports is doing a casual Smite tournament
Friday.
And I'm going to put it in the chat room. The people that are listening to the podcast, this won't be live by the time this goes live, because this is only for the 15th and the 16th. But there you go, chat room.
But it might happen again.
Casual tournament.
Yeah, go check
Sports.
out who the winners are.
Yeah. Esports.
Well, we do have a few tips. I think we forgot to mention these last week, so they may be a little old, but pull these off of Reddit. There's actually a good thread on Reddit on just things like you probably didn't know about Smite. And so I pulled a couple of them here, but we'll link to the full thing. The first one I thought was really interesting. It's when attacking a tower without creeps, the tower only takes half damage. Will keep taking full damage if creeps die and you keep attacking. If you go in early and attack a tower without creeps, it will start taking full damage when creeps enter tower range.
Yes, you can't be all sneaky and be like, I'm going to take tower 2 without taking down tower 1. Yeah. Actually, that's a different thing, right?
Yeah. No, we did a
that one doesn't
Smite Busters on this. The towers and the Minotaur absolutely have to go in order. You cannot kill the second tower.
Yeah.
For the first tower,
it's
you
like
can't
immune.
kill the Phoenix before any of the other towers, and you can't kill the Minotaur until at least one Phoenix is down.
Yeah. And we went into the game and tested this action. So we're not just speculating.
One day.
We're not liars. It'll be up on our YouTube channel. Smite Busters.
Okay, so that's pretty much it for the show, I think. It's way over.
Yes, that is it.
Done way too much yelling at Wes tonight.
That is it. And please, everybody, go give us iTunes reviews. That would be excellent. You can get this on iTunes. Just search for On Smite or Dead Workers Party. You can find this fine podcast. And also, you can watch this on our YouTube channel. What is our YouTube channel? youtube.com/deadworkerson.
Yeah, nice work there.
And send us all your goodies. Give us a call. Give us a ringy-ding.
I know we have had 0 calls.
Yeah, totally.
0.
You guys got a phone. I know you does. So give us a jingle. Dial in 662-736-8260.
It's just minutes. Like, it doesn't cost you anything, right? It's just minutes on your cell phone. This ain't old school days when it's like, I got to call this long distance number. It's going to cost me. Remember those days?
Oh, yeah. Don't call us collect.
Like, how crazy is it? Like, I can't believe my phone bill is $60.
Oh, no.
Dude, I had like $500 phone bills because my dang roommate called his girlfriend in California and let the phone off the hook. You know, stupid stuff like that.
And the thing now is, like, go to Google Voice and get yourself a free number and start calling people all over the planet. I think you can even call other planets.
You can.
With Google Voice.
Can. That's
another thing,
delusion, I think.
Another thing you can do is you can email us all your excellent goodies.
As
email,
you tell, people have been doing it.
Yeah, smite@deadworkers.com. All the stuff we got for this episode came from that email.
Yeah. Some comments on YouTube. YouTube's a good place. Leave some comments there.
That's true. Yeah.
Tell us how we're wrong about everything. We don't care.
Also, the Smite subreddit. We read that too.
Yeah. I love the Smite subreddit. Just like Gabe.
And we
Austin.
we
I
post
love Austin too.
Yeah, Austin's good stuff. Denton.
Brad.
Denton. I like Denton.
Love them all. We gotta go over there.
Yeah, we're gonna come see you.
We're gonna head over there to High Res Studios. We're gonna be there.
We're gonna go get you. We're gonna get ya.
And then we'll go out drinking afterwards at the Battle and Brew.
Oh yeah, that's a good place.
Yeah. Wes
We
knows
like
that
Atlanta.
place.
Yep.
Yeah.
Battle and Brew.
So anyway, that's enough pimpage, I guess.
We also like to create doilies out of paper towels.
Yeah, and Wes's hair.
Huh?
We like
Yeah.
to create Wes's hair out of paper towels. Doilies.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So. All right, smite on, my brothers and sisters. We will see you next week.
Completed.